Okay, we are going live. And we should be live. I think. Allegedly live. No, you are dying on me.
Did we make it? No, I'm not dying. That's just you.
On my end.
I'm still here, still alive. We are alive. I can see the stream in front of me.
Okay, I'm going to turn off my...
Team Kuribrohs say that we're starting shortly. Turn off your video to me because I don't need that.
I see how it is. Yeah. Cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hello, Daniel.
Hi, Tom. I haven't seen you in like a whole 7 days.
It's been a good 7 days. I'm getting a little bit of feedback on my own voice in my... I don't know if that's coming through at all. It might be fine if it's just me. But it might mean that you have out loud audio open somewhere.
Okay, do I still have you?
Yeah.
Okay, because your camera went crazy.
Am I still alive? Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you now. It all went
wonderful news. Wonderful news. Are we in the wait for people to show up phase?
Yes, we are.
That means you have 20 questions to guess my card.
Okay. Also,
it's my favorite bit.
Tom's audio is very broken. Guys, can you let me know if Tom's audio is still very broken?
I hope it's not.
I think it was with the
Hello, Prince Murloc of France. I hope the glitch is slightly less real now.
It's better.
Mana says it's better. Great. Dan, you still have 20 questions.
Okay, so is it a monster card?
Yes, because it's almost always going to be a monster card. They're the ones that are most fun.
Sure. I mean, if we just want to make it a house rule that it's always a monster card, that does make life easier.
I'm gonna throw you off. I'm gonna lull you into
one time
security,
and then it'll be Dragon Capture Jar.
No, it's not gonna be Dragon Capture Jar. It's gonna be something like Zoma Spirit. So you start guessing things about level and attack. I'm like, yeah, it's level 4.
No, that's actually incorrect. There is no level printed on the card.
It's a level 4.
Is the monster level 4 or lower?
The monster is level 4 or lower. You have 18 questions remaining.
Okay. Is it a extra deck card? Does it begin the game in the extra deck?
It does not begin the game in the extra deck. You have 17 questions remaining.
Keeping it open to being a pendulum. Level 4 or lower. I feel like the only cards you know are level 4 or lower monsters.
I mean, they're the ones that make rank 3s.
Is it light or dark?
It is not light or dark.
Ooh.
You have 16 questions remaining.
Is it fire or wind?
It is not fire or wind. You have 15 questions remaining.
Is it water?
No.
Okay, cool.
You have 14 questions.
Does it have the ability to summon itself either from an effect or a built-in summon?
No, it's not Psychic Wielder again. I'll just give you that one for free.
That
one's real bad.
I mean, it could have been Gigantes or like the Rock Spirit. Who knows?
For all you know, it could be the Winged Dragon of Ra. Actually, no, that's probably not level 4 or lower.
It could also be Gallus.
Well, I just answered that it doesn't have an effect special summon itself, so...
Does
13.
It have an effect to draw cards?
It does not have an effect to draw cards.
Mathematician, God. Okay, so it is an Earth level 4 or lower. Is it or has it ever been on the Forbidden Unlimited list?
It is not and has never been on the Forbidden Unlimited list.
Okay,
Other
good.
questions remain.
Is it printed before Duelist Genesis, which is the start of Synchro?
It is not printed before the start of Duelist Genesis, which is the start of Synchro era.
Okay, so it's a relatively modern card.
It is a relatively modern card, if by relatively modern you mean in the latter 4 of the 6 active Yu-Gi-Oh! Arcs.
Yeah, that's relatively modern.
You're so old.
Oh no! Does it send cards from the deck to the graveyard?
It does not send cards from the deck to the graveyard.
Have you played this card at a Nationals event or higher?
I have not played this card at a Nationals event or higher. You have 9 questions and you know not a lot about this card.
So, is it level 3 or lower?
It is not level 3 or lower.
Okay,
You've just
so
narrowed down
it's a
quite a
level
lot.
4 Earth Monster, and you've not played it at any competitive events. And it doesn't special summon, and it doesn't draw, and it doesn't send. But it could special summon other monsters. Guys, it's level 4. It cannot be Green Crane or Mathematician, as much as I would like them. Does it have 1,900 or more attack?
It does not have 1,900 or more attack.
Okay,
it's a pretty narrow question, that one.
It's a pretty broad question, because all of the meaningful Earth normal monsters have more than that breakpoint.
So I guess you did also rule out all of the vanillas that would be interesting to talk about.
Yeah, like it could be Mechanical Chaser, but if you're gonna do Mechanical Chaser, then
Mechanical Chaser is long before start of Synchro.
That's true. So it's less than 1900.
That's correct.
Does it have a flip effect?
It does not have a flip effect, and you have 7 questions remaining. In the chat, Fossil Diner Pachycephalo was printed just before the start of the Synchro era. I think it was
Light of
Destruction, which was the penultimate
right
set.
Before.
I thought Phantom Darkness was the last one.
Yeah, sorry, Phantom. Yeah, it went Gladiator Assault, Light of Destruction, Phantom Darkness.
Yeah.
Um,
Almost all of the Amazon S cards would also be too old to be included.
Can it special summon other monsters?
Yes, it can. Oh boy, can it.
Okay.
Starting to give you some information here because I'm getting worried, Dan. You've only got 6 questions, or is it 5 now?
I have sufficient questions.
Okay. If you knew me, you'd already have the answer.
So I just don't know you. TKB exposed. Daniel doesn't know Tom. Is it Goblinsburg?
You're really stabbing in the dark here. No, you have 5 questions remaining.
I mean, it's a good card that summons other monsters. Oh, right. What level is Cat? Cat is 3. Rabbit is 4. Ferret is 4. Is it printed in Code of the Duelist onwards?
It is printed in Code of the Duelist onwards.
Is it
4
Rescue
questions
Ferret?
remain. No.
Oops.
But that was a good shout, because Rescue Ferret is a boy. Like, I'm pretty sure I have 2 Rescue Ferrets on the desk in front of me at the moment.
But it is printed.
He's about.
He's a
He
great
could
card.
very easily have ended up being the card that you had to guess, but he was not.
So I have one guess?
No, I think you have 3 questions remaining.
Okay. So
Also, Rescue Cat is level 4, but is also too old.
yeah. It's Flaming Eternity, which
Yep.
is way older.
I have this one that I got from a Portuguese booster pack that I bought from Brazil when I was ordering my Portuguese Crimson Sunbirds.
Powerful. The important things.
Yeah. I also have a Mint First Ed Ultimate Portuguese Deck Devastation Virus that I got in those same Flaming Eternity packs.
That's crazy. People are suggesting Goki Suprax and Amano Owato, but I don't think either of those are cards that you play. And also, it
doesn't special summon very much.
it very actively does not special summon. Was it released in a main set?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not Iron Hands. Level 4 Urch that special summons from one of the recent sets. So we have... It's not Rescue Hamster. It could be Treasure Panda. Is Treasure Panda...
Treasure Panda was the same set as Rescue Ferret.
It's Code of the Duelist, yeah. I'm just wanting to see if there's any way to actually, like... Rat is too early, guys. It's before Code of the Duelist. It's Raging Tempest. Is it Treasure Panda?
Ta-da! Treasure Panda. For the uninitiated, Beast level 4, 1100, 2k defense. You can banish up to 3 spells or traps from your graveyard face down as a cost. Special summon a normal monster from your deck whose level equals the number of cards banished to activate this effect. Now, you might notice something about that effect, or you might not notice something about that effect because it's not there. And yeah, there is not even a little bit of once per turn on that card. So that was what led to the comment of, oh boy, does he summon things, because there have been some silly combos with Exodia decks which just like summon all of the Exodia pieces from deck. You don't even have to like find a way into a second Treasure Panda. This one's just like, nope, I'm just going to get everything.
Yeah.
So it's quite an interesting card. It feels like it should be broken in some way. Haven't really made it broken yet, but it's a card I'm looking at a lot.
At some point, potentially.
Like I've been looking loads into silly Ib combos because I like the idea of silly Ib combos, and it's just another starter. I'm not sure if it's a great starter, but it's a starter. So if you have Treasure Panda on board and a spell engrave, you just get straight to your Flambeau Guard, go from there.
Yeah. Flambeau Guard is a card.
And the best part is they can ash it, and then you banish another spell and get your Flambeau and go from there.
I mean, it is like such an interesting card. We will hop onto the topics because few people have been asking about them, and then we will come back because definitely an interesting thing to talk about. World Championship 2019. As people know, we're after getting a bit more information about it happening in Berlin. Tickets became available during last week. I just booked my flights for it right before this started. So I will be there on the Sunday. Wrong order compared to what I meant to. But yeah, so Rising Rampage sneak peeks for this weekend.
And you'll
What's up?
I don't know if it's my internet or yours, but something... Oh, you were back for a moment.
Okay. I'm getting an error. Are you still able to hear me?
I can hear you now. Everything's back.
Okay. YouTube is not receiving enough
Oh no.
video. It doesn't like me using the editing software while we're talking, it seems. Okay, so we're just going to talk about Rising Rampage. If people can let me know if there's any issues in the chat. Tom, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Cool. Okay, so Rising Rampage, we came across some like weird posts as the sneak peeks were approaching. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. Somebody posted a picture of a Apollo Link 4 lady with like crazy foiling on it. And so basically what we found out is Konami are after putting in a new rarity to the sets, which has just been confirmed today by Konami directly. They are
Weird
roughly...
that it's being confirmed today after loads of people have got their hands on the cards, but...
I guess it's like a kind of attempted viral marketing. Like, it makes sense to just throw something random in and let the hype build itself, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not the most unique foiling. Like, it's not ultimate rare, and it doesn't have quite the same impact as I think something like Shatterfoil does. Like, the Shatterfoil of DT cards is really unique, whereas this... Like, I haven't seen any of them in person, but again, a lot of people are drawing parallels between it and the Platinum Secret Rares.
Yep, I've seen them in person, and they look very reminiscent of Platinum Secret.
So is it a layer of foiling over, or... like, is it a secret...
Have you seen the Platinum cards, and particularly the Platinum Secret Rares from the tins a couple of years back?
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar to that. The only difference between the new cards and the Platinum Secrets from a couple of years back being that it's a prismatic foil rather than a secret rare pattern foil.
Right. So it is just the same... Like, it's not a layer applied on top of the rarity. It's just, this is a unique rarity.
I don't know mechanically how Platinum cards were constructed, but I am almost certain that it's exactly the same system, just with a different foil layer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's good in terms of it will reduce the cost of the normal versions of the cards.
I'm not certain about that, largely because we now know that the numbers are so small for the prismatics. I don't know how great of an effect that will have. I think if we were seeing the same sort of numbers that we saw regarding ultimate printings back when ultimate rares were in main sets, it would have quite a significant effect. But I think the quantities that we're expecting to see of these is more similar to the presence of a ghost rare without any ultimate in between.
Yeah, I mean, Ghost Rare has still reduced the cost of the Ghost Rare cards, but at the same time, like, we only have one of these cards which will be expensive anyway, which is the Link 4.
I think Win is quite likely to hold a reasonable price.
I mean, it's a rare, though. Like,
yes.
the prismatic version will be expensive.
Yeah.
But it's not going to reduce the price of that card. But it's a case of, if the prismatics are popular, then more of the product will be opened. So that's why the prices reduce. We saw this with other card games when they introduced chase rarities. Particularly Magic did it with Battle for Zendikar, which was their first set with chase rares, which is back in like 2016, I think.
For those of us that might not have any idea, what is a chase rare in Magic?
So chase rares are basically like this, where it's an alternate art, alternate foil version of a card. They went with full arts. But so a chase just means that you're unlikely to get it. And I think they were roughly 1 in every 2 to 3 displays, but they might have been a bit rarer than that.
And that's a similar number to what we're expecting from these prismatics.
These prismatics we're expecting, it's either 1 per case or 1 per 2 cases.
Okay.
So, it's unclear. They say that you'd be 50 times happier to get a prismatic than a secret rare.
Is that specifically what they say? Happier?
Yes. So,
okay, that's weirdly imprecise.
There's no confirmation as to whether or not it's like 50 times more likely than an individual secret, or 50 times more likely than, or 50
or
times
even
less
if that
likely.
Directly translates to probability. They might just arbitrarily assign a happiness that would come with that.
But 1 per case is probably a good estimate, and the thing is, you need to have these that they are common enough that people are going to buy cases to try and get them.
We'll see by Thursday or even possibly Wednesday if some of the larger distributors get their cases in and start cracking them, just what sort of ratios we're expecting, because there will reliably be people online cracking multiple cases, and over a sample of sort of 10, 12 cases, you're probably going to be able to see what's coming up.
So in this set we have 4 prismatics, because we didn't cover that.
And in this particular set, we can see that it's 1 at each of the rarities above common. It would be fairly reasonable to assume that that's what we're likely to have going forward, but that's just a guess at this point.
Presumably... So, I mean, there's some understanding of what will be popular in these picks, because we don't have the cover card. We have the best secret from the set. We have probably the best rare from the set as well, and then we have the core, like one of the core ultras of the popular archetype, and then I don't know if the trap card is good, but it references Tempest, so it'll be a popular card.
The ultra seems like a really weird choice, given that it's in a deck that already plays other ultra rare cards. I thought personally it would have made much more sense to have gone with the cover card. And it would be less of a competitive player's card and more of a collector's one, but perhaps they've decided that the market for the prismatic rare isn't the collectors, and so they really want to try and find the most competitively sought out ultra rare for that slot.
Potentially. I mean, we'll have to see, and maybe they'll be able to discuss more so what their ideas going into it are. But, I mean, overall, like, it seems like a relatively reasonable choice of cards for it. It's odd that it wasn't announced beforehand, and everybody will be able to get access to prismatic secrets in the megatins this year. So, we will get a much better feeling for what the players think about prismatics when that product comes out.
Prismatic secrets in the megatins, is that prismatic secrets with the same platinum effect foiling, or just regular prismatic as we've seen in sets like World Superstars?
I'm pretty sure this is prismatic secret rare, so they will all be prismatic secret rares, I think. I think you get 5 or 6 promos from 3 different subsets.
Okay, in the megatins. Okay, sure. As the promos. That makes sense.
I think the secrets in the megatin itself might also be, from the megatin packs, might be prismatic secrets as well.
Okay, yeah, that would be quite interesting, because in previous years we've seen megatin secret rares really devaluing the original prints by being essentially indistinguishable. But this time, not only do we have a mix-up of the rarities, but we also, if that's true, would see a different secret rare that would allow the first printing to hold value much better going forwards, which I really like.
It's a good system, and it definitely makes the megatins less intrusive.
It means that the megatins still do what they do well for the players that need the reprints, but they don't take away from the players that want to invest early and get the cool cards the first time around. It feels like a decision that's just benefits for everyone. So absolutely on board with that.
The other thing from this image that we have up is we do have the regional map for the next season, which is a really nice one. It's zoned. It has an excellent card on it. It'll be a good one for the start of the season. It does say 2020 on it. That is because it is the 2020 World Championship season, even though it will be for the autumn 2019 regional tournaments. Additionally to that, the other match that it's on top of looks interesting, but we don't have more information on it. It doesn't look like one that I've seen before, so we'll have to see if it shows up. And I think I killed the stream again there for a second, so just wait a second.
Daniel, what have you done?
Okay, so I definitely need another machine if we're going to be live editing. What I'm trying to bring up is the goodies for the World Championship goodie bags. So we'll see if those come out. While we're waiting for those, there have been a bunch of questions in the chat. One of the ones that I would like to tackle is Apex Sphere asks, how would you guys play Sky Striker now? I think Striker is going to still be a deck. It's starting to show a decline on win rate online, but I think you still play basically the same. You're going to be playing all of the same cards. You're probably still playing mine. But we need to see how the format settles before you can be 100% sure.
Seb, our resident Sky Striker expert, insists that he doesn't think the deck really continues, but I'm convinced by that. On the line that he was saying that you do well with only one multi-role or with only one Kagari, but not both. I think now we will see a little more shift towards playing those cards that are able to summon back Kagari. But that makes the mirror match very interesting.
What I was testing was I was considering testing triple instant fusion in the main.
Okay.
And then you just play a level 4.
The thought behind...
Well, I mean, you have access to Abyss Dweller then a lot more easily.
Okay.
Dweller is great. And then also you have Daigusto Emerald, which not only returns Kagari plus a few others, but it also draws you a card, which is always nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
And there's the old Utopia double as well. So you've got a bit of a rank 4 toolbox potentially going on.
If you're doing Utopia double, you have to sacrifice more extra deck space, and you can probably find it, but I wasn't committing to 2 slots that are required for it.
Okay.
But that's a direction that you can definitely explore. We now have the mat on screen, and it has been on screen for a while now, so we will talk about it. So, in addition to spectators of the World Championship being able to, they'll get copies of the World's promos, so the Red Eyes Black Dragon and the Monster Reborn. But in addition to that, they'll have the opportunity to buy a goodie bag which has this mat in it. And then it also has a set of blue and a set of red WCS sleeves, as well as a few other goodies, I think. So, I mean, the mat looks really nice. We'll have to see what the sleeves are like, but it looks like it's going to be a very collectible little bundle of goodies.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't think there's much else to really say about the World Championships. You had mentioned, actually there's a lot to say because we have the list, but the list has only gone up in Japanese for the Forbidden Unlimited list. Basically it is going to be everything from Dark Neostorm and before, and it's our previous list plus the Japanese list instead of our current list.
Yes, and also any of the Battles of Legend and Heroes Revenge cards, I think, are also out.
I think some of them are and some of them aren't, but again, we're just going to wait for an English list to get full confirmation because none of us speak Japanese and Google Translate isn't super helpful. We will be attending World Championship OTS events once they're announced. I think that's happening this week probably. So once we know what's available, we'll let people know how many we're planning to go to, and then also we'll start talking about theory for decks for if you're preparing for your own events. Yeah, we won't have dangers or any of the TCG exclusive archetypes.
No time thieves. No. I love time.
They still redo from you.
Yeah, we had like the glimmer of hope of our last chance of playing Bardiche because we're on the previous TCG list, and then no redoer, so you can't even do your time things then, which is sad, but we'll make do. We'll find other routes. Just on the subject of Banless and Rising Rampage, Return of the Storm Dragon is such a cool card. I tried to say it earlier, but you were cutting out, so I didn't know if we were still live. One of my favorite cards in the set, so flavorful, and I was just thinking, did they release it in TCG and OCG at the respective times Tempest got removed from the Forbidden List?
Yes, they did. It was a self-aware card. Perfect. There's a lot of self-aware cards, like
yeah, and they're some of my favorite.
Oh, there's a Floodgate, which is really bad, but it has 1,000 Eyes Restrict, kind of like waving goodbye to the rest of the ban list cards as it leaves, which is amazing. There's a lot of good stuff. Yep. And then like
the cards in that series, Mistake, Rest, Shared Ride, and the one that you were just talking about that I can't remember the name of, but I know what it does.
It's the one that... No, the one I'm thinking of is...
Target a face-up card and further copies can't be used, a bit like Prohibition?
That's the Mistaken Arrest. The first one I was talking about was...
What is Mistaken Accusations? I feel like that's the card that is in the same like lore set.
I think it's the follow-on from Mistaken Arrest. If your opponent has more total cards in their hand and their side of the field than you do, target one face-up card on the field. Neither player can activate cards with that name or their effects for the rest of the duel, except that target. You can only activate one Mistaken Accusation per turn. Quick play spell.
Yeah, that one with Sangan behind us.
And also, I have just seen a version of it with googly eyes, and it is amazing. I don't have it on my computer, so I don't know.
And even if you did, it would crash the stream if you tried to share it.
Tried to show it up to the camera, so we'll see if it's visible, but it's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, the self-aware cards are incredibly amusing, and it really ties into the fact that alongside, like, we have the anime cards, but then we also just have so many good, just like internal card lore cards.
Yeah, those are my favorite. I really like the whole dual terminal art things, like all of the Shadal and the Klee, having all of the bits of artwork that tie everything together.
Yeah.
Love it all. Great card design. Which I feel like a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Card design is really weak. I don't like...
A lot of anime card design... a lot of anime card design suffers from you're putting out a lot of stuff at once. And the effects are all very arbitrary in terms of they fill plot requirements as opposed to gameplay requirements.
It's like a 50-50 on whether they end up broken or unplayable.
Speaking of good cards, though, I am holding up a mannequin cat to my camera because this is a card. I played Sneak Peek this weekend, and I opened 2 of it, and it was literally my Sneak Peek deck. Was just summon mannequin cat and use it to kill the opponent. The card is crazy.
Very surprised when I saw that had 2,000 attack. I was expecting it to be like 200.
Card is crazy good. It's a pity we never had it when Paleo was a proper deck.
Whoa, you take that back.
Are you saying Paleo is still a proper deck?
Paleo is like a deck that I really like. I don't know if it's proper.
I mean, I don't think Paleo can play true Guard Dragon Wombo combo shenanigans at the moment.
Give him 3 strike and 3 judge, and let's play ball.
Okay, I mean, hey, look. Next stream, we will play your Paleo versus me playing combo, and we'll see how it goes for you.
Just let me win the die roll.
Just
Please.
Please. I just want to play purple cards. But yeah, Mannequin Catch.
It's not like going second spiral format where you can play going fourth Paleo.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, again, Mannequin Catch seems bonkers if you have the targets to summon from it. But again, it's very much a going second card in and of itself. But very good in Sneak Peek. I think the Sneak Peek format was pretty reasonable. There were like one or two issues.
Absolutely one of the best Sneak Peek formats I think I've ever played. It actually felt like it played in an interesting manner. Most of the cards were playable. Yeah, you still had like 2 or 3 cards per booster of chunk. But I played a couple of Sneak Peek events, and at both of the events I played, I was cutting down cards to get to 20 to make it more consistent, see the good bits, rather than adding in unplayables to make it up to 20, which is an experience we've had in previous set releases.
Okay, you opened a lot better than me. My deck was like 15 cards I liked, and then a bit of filler. Not too bad, but playing things like Reversible Beetles that I wouldn't play otherwise.
Reversible Beetle was great.
Sure, but if they run into it, it dies and doesn't do anything.
Does it not even shuffle in if it's already dead?
No, because it says shuffle this card and any face-up monsters in its column into the decks. So it has to fulfill the A to then do the B.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not how it was ruled at the events that I played, and it made it significantly better.
Oh yeah, I mean, if it just says, like, when you attack this, but it's like, do you know the card Dummy Golem from The Lost Millennium?
Yes, I think so.
I think it's level 2 Earth, like 800 attack, 800 defense, flip, target a monster, gain or swap control of it and discard. But because it dies by battle, it never gets to do the swap because it's not a legal action. So the beetle can't shuffle itself because it's already marked for destruction by game mechanics. In the same way that Giant Trunade doesn't return itself to the hand because Giant Trunade is marked for destruction by game mechanics.
But at the same point, is it not a mandatory activation of the flip effect?
Sure,
and
but
has mandatorily activated it. I thought it would resolve as much as it could.
Sure, but it can't resolve the first part, which is shuffling itself. And thus it can't resolve the second part.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is really sad, because otherwise it would be bonkers good. As it is, it's still really good, because you normal summon it into column with their big monster, and then you kill their big monster. But it doesn't out the Tenyi spirit fighter berserker guy, the Link Tree.
So how does summoning it in their column do anything?
Because when it's normal summoned, you change it and any monster it's in the column face down. So it Book of Moons.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, normal summonable Book of Moons still.
The Seamorg cards were really good for the format, I think, because they meant
they were good. The little ones were good, the big ones are good, and if you had both, they were incredible. But I never had the big ones.
Bonkers. My only loss was to somebody who had the big wind one plus 2 copies of the wind guy that summons plus the Link Tree. And I just couldn't deal with that many big threats. I took 1 game off him, but it was really rough, and I basically needed him to go into the Link Tree when I'd have access to Mannequin Cat. So I could Mannequin Cat summon Voltster into column with it to blow it up. But that's like pretty difficult. The Tenyi cards are interesting. Particularly, are you familiar with the dark one?
The level 7, 15, 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I pulled one of those.
Have you read the card?
I read the special summon effect, and then I read that it had another effect that I couldn't use.
But you do, because you go special summon it, make the Link 1 normal guy.
Nah, I didn't have that guy.
Oh, sure, but I mean, just in general deck building, the card's really interesting. Like, okay. It is a card that you can play similar to a Crusadia, because if you're going second and you open it, you just special summon Link, and then you use its effect to bounce one of your opponent's negates.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I got a lot of time for that. Takes up an extra deck slot, but it's neat.
I mean, like, if the choice is between takes up an extra deck spot and just not playing going second, like, I'll take the card that at least attempts to let me play.
Yeah, no, that seems really good, because it's kind of like a instant fusion type card. Yep. That you get a little bit of a Thalmized Restrict going on there. You special summon for free. You get a Link 1 body. What's the arrow on the Link 1?
I will double check.
If he's a down arrow, that can start to get a little spooky. Because then you can start summoning. Yep,
he is Urt down arrow 1k attack.
That's really cool. Because the effect that your opponent would need be negating is in a grave, so they don't even take out your Link 1. If you summon Vishuda, link it away for Link 1, you shoot it in grave, you can negate it, but you haven't lost yourself body on board at that point. Exactly. Which is a significant improvement upon if you tried to start with Infusion for 1,000 eyes. And not only that, is you can then follow it up with
Instant Fusion for 1,000 eyes.
I was more thinking 2 bodies into a Nightmare Cerberus underneath it, and then the Cerberus comes out co-linked, can't be destroyed by card effects, and gets you a draw if they don't negate the effect as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. This has got some wheels. I like it. Yeah.
Did anybody play the field spell against you?
I played the field spell against other people.
Oh, that card's disgusting. It's so good.
Yeah, I had a lot of people didn't play it because they were like, oh, I don't have vanilla monsters. And I was like, yeah, but you can just have a set monster. Yeah. So I kept setting monsters, and then my opponents would let me draw 2. It was great.
It's pretty good. How did you find Barcade Borg Blocker? Did it come up at all?
I pulled one. I used it.
I pulled 2, and they were my only usable links. So I did actually summon them a few times, and the card's like okay.
In one of my events, I had Baba Baba, which was the 2 monster Link 2, and I did have to summon it a couple times because the event where I had this, I had 2 copies of Fuma Wave, but my entire deck was wind, and so if I needed to take out any of the dark threats, I needed to put 2 bodies on board, link away the Baba, and then use that to take down whatever they established.
Powerful and definitely not convoluted in any way.
Not at all. No. But it's great because once you've got it out on the board, it dodges every battle phase, so you can just keep it there until you need a tribute material.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think overall it's a really decent set. I would be interested almost to see what a 10-pack sealed for the set would be like.
I'd be to see how it drafts.
Yeah.
I think that this is the best Yu-Gi-Oh product for draft in a long time. Which is, the bar is not high. Like, I wouldn't rush out and a box just to draft it. But if you happen to have bought a box because you wanted a box and you got some mates, you'd be like, yeah, let's go for it. See how I play. I reckon it would be alright.
Our highest seal of approval, draftable. Is the set playable? That's
literally
not draftable.
Functional for draft is the best Yu-Gi-Oh draft product you're ever going to get.
I think again, like, you could make a decent cube using this set as a basis by cutting out some of the like bulk stuff. Like,
I hadn't even considered
FA
applications for
Shining
cube. There
Star.
are probably quite a lot of cube cards in this set.
I mean, the entire Seamorg stuff is all like completely reasonable, and it lets you special summon guys to go into links in a low power cube, but you also stop yourself, so you want to build up enough.
You can't special summon guys to go into links. If you're special summoning the guys, you're locked into wind beasts for the rest of the turn.
Exactly. So you have to summon them on a turn, and then your opponent has a turn to respond before you can then start doing stuff. There were a lot of times that I summoned the level 2 Seamorg with a few other ones, just hoped my opponent would kill the other low ones game 1, and then
you get your mannequin cat.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's an interesting set. The Seamorg stuff I will be looking into personally, because it was actually the first structure deck that I got and really liked. So I have a little fun spot for the birds. And also just wind monsters are highly underrated.
I really like them.
Non-stop locks. Worlds is the 10th and 11th of August in Berlin.
And the World Celebration events 2 weekends following that.
Yeah, so the World Celebration events have been confirmed for OCG and have been confirmed for Europe, but I don't see anything on the US page, so I don't know about the I don't know what's happening with US stuff. So once we know, we will share on to social media and stuff, but currently we don't know what's happening on that end. Yeah, we know there's 27 players for Worlds this year, I think, in the main event. So I think only the finals is being streamed, but I could be wrong.
That seems really odd.
I think it's potentially just a case of like what access they have in the venue, but I don't know.
Okay.
It's in the
Is it not the same venue as we've had for Euros?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's in the same hall as Euros.
Yeah. It doesn't need quite so much space.
Mm-hmm. You cut off there, but I assume you were saying it's probably less space required.
So much space. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about the Rarity earlier, Damien. Do people have thoughts or questions about stuff? I've been like testing a bit this week so far. So the decks that I decided to kind of play about with, not taking Rising Rampage into consideration, but I was testing out some Cosmo to see how effective it was at OTKing. And the conclusion is it's really good at OTKing, but very bad at finding ways to actually break boards. So
it's quite easy to do 8,000 damage through no board.
I mean, as long as you can establish any board, it's easy to do lots of damage. Like, because you're able to just play triple Farm Girl and triple Dark Destroyer.
It's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. Obviously, Farm Girl can only tag out once, but if you have a few guys, you're able to, like, Farm Girl, search a Dark Destroyer, summon it, pop itself, summon another Farm Girl, and attack and search another Dark Destroyer, and then tag out one of your other guys. So there's, like, a bunch of cute things you can do with that. But I'm not convinced there's an actual deck there. Pretty good tier 2 deck. But like I was banning Cyber Dragons and Pankratops and Super Polys, and they just don't simplify the board enough that you can get away with doing your Cosmo stuff after that. Unless you get like Fire King Island and it resolves, because then you just go crazy.
Is Fire King Island hard to play over something like Dragonic Diagram?
Problem with Diagram is with Fire King Island you can pop a ship, grab a straw man effect, bring that ship back, and then you play Cosmotown over your Fire King Island. Island activates, kills your straw man and your ship. Your ship floats into Sword Troopers, and then Sword Troopers brings back the straw man and brings back the ship.
Okay, so we're actually getting value out of the self-destruction on the fighting island. That makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it's like, it's a very fun deck to play, but it's not very good. I'll try and throw a list up of what I have been testing, because I think it's like, it's fun to explore, and like I played back when Cosmo was like Forerunner Farm Girl, and nothing else. Like Forerunner Farm Girl, Good Witch, Slip Rider. So it has a lot of that feel, because the list isn't playing Tin Can at all, because Tin Can's terrible when you're trying to kill people.
Yeah, Tin Can is not the best OTK card.
Yeah, I also tested some Invoked Mech Knights. I think this was one that I tested against you, right, Tom? Oh no.
I had no idea. I'm still here.
Okay, now you're back.
Please don't hate me. Yep. Yeah, against me, I was Great, really bad. Invoked, and it didn't seem that spectacular. It was okay. I wasn't over enthused.
Yeah, Invoked didn't perform crazy, but like, I think it was a relatively close matchup.
Yes, but I don't know how much of that was me playing badly.
Sure. Looking at stats, so if people want to hop over to Yu-Gi-Oh! Scope, I will just link it in the chat. So I mean, we're about 20,000 games into the format, I guess, looking at the numbers from the last 7 days since the list. So I don't think Rising Rampage is accounted for here, but the only thing we're seeing over 60% seems to be Thunder Dragon. There is Orcust Sky Striker with 400 games at 65% as well, but there's also normal Orcust at 56%, so I'm not convinced Orcust Sky Striker is secretly OP. It's probably just like being played at lower rankings, or just somebody specifically quite good with the deck.
Is that not just Orcust playing 3 engage and drones?
Yeah, exactly that. So I don't know what the other Orcust build is playing, but it's not performing as well. But I mean, like, looking at the list of decks here, we see Salomon Great most represented, 60% win-loss ratio. Yep. True Draco second most represented. This deck's been really popular recently, and it's definitely one you need to consider, and it's at 60%.
It's existed forever, which is weird because it doesn't feel that old, but it's been around for a very long time.
It doesn't feel old, and yet it feels timeless at the same time. You know?
Yeah. It naturally is the spiritual successor to Monarchs, and Monarchs have been around since the dawn of time.
Yeah, I actually played a Monarch matchup with my Cosmo deck, and it didn't go well. Stormforge just like... Yeah. Stormforge Erebus.
Monarchs were the deck that stopped Cosmo from doing really well when Cosmo should have been doing really well.
Yeah, because Monarchs was just broken. Like,
it's not even that they were just broken, it's that they hard countered the value train of Cosmo. Like, on a power level, I think the decks were pretty much at parity at the time, but the matchup was so ridiculously in the Monarch deck's favor because of Stormforth and Erebus.
Yeah.
It just completely bypassed the entire protection that the Cosmo deck had without letting them float afterwards.
It could also search Majesty's Fiend, which was really good against Cosmo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prince Murloc has pointed out that if you play the Psychic Brain Lab field spell, which makes it so that you don't have to pay for psychics, you can summon if you have access to 2 Sword Troopers, and a cannon soldier, you just FTK. So that's cute. It's not really the deck I want to play, but it is a deck and I can appreciate it. Sky Striker, Subterra, Altergeist. Striker is at 58% and is third most represented, and then subs and Altergeist are about 59%. I think we're seeing the decline of Sky Striker here. I'd expect it to settle around 56% probably. But again, I think the deck's still strong, especially when we look at the decks that are performing well.
Why do you expect it to settle lower?
I don't expect people to be playing it as much. So the people that are going to be playing it are going to be the less competitive players.
Okay.
But again, it's really hard to tell. Like, we see Crusadia Thunder Dragon with only 1,200 players, and Pure Thunder Dragon with 1,700. So, those decks are much less represented than they should be based off their win rates. So the format's very weird. Like, there's 1,500 hero games, even though the deck has a 42% win rate.
People like heroes.
Magical Musketeers, which is a deck that people have been asking about, is currently at 54%. Again, that would kind of put it into what I would consider tier 2. Again, it could be a case that people aren't playing the deck very well, but I kind of need to see more of it before I can really formulate my opinion on it.
Yeah, we know that the Link one is ridiculously good, but how ridiculously good does it need to be to make up for the deficit in the rest of the cards?
Yeah, I mean, this format, I think you're still in a case where you have to say to yourself, like, if I'm looking from a purely competitive standpoint, why am I not playing the Wombo Combo Crusadia deck?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable point to make, and you do need to ask that question. For a lot of people, the answer to that question is that they don't want to.
Yep, I mean, that's completely reasonable. That's why I don't play the deck, because I don't find combo terribly interesting. Which is just because I'm lazy, really. Like, I don't enjoy learning all of those little algorithms. I just want to play back and forth card advantage games.
That's not Yu-Gi-Oh, Daniel. That hasn't been Yu-Gi-Oh for such a long time.
Sneak Peek is exactly that.
No, Sneak Peek isn't that either. Sneak Peek is often decided by singular blowout cards that just are better than what your opponent has. There are too many situations in a Sneak Peek where you can't 2-for-1 to out your opponent's big monster. You just can't beat it at all. In an ideal game of what I think you want to play, you'd always be able to use 2 cards to beat one of your opponent's best.
I mean, that's not how Yu-Gi-Oh works, really. But, like, in Rising Rampage Sneak Peek, there were lots of scenarios where you could come back from your opponent summoning a big boss monster. Yeah,
there were outs to the big monsters, but there were plenty of times where games were decided just because I didn't draw one of my outs. I
mean, that's just the nature of card games, though. Like,
I'm not sure about that. I feel like there have been plenty of past formats that were highly advantage based, but you could always throw resources at a problem to get through it.
It is being pointed out to me that Speed Duel is very similar to what I'm looking for, and that is very true. Like, if you look at Speed Duel meta at the moment, everybody's on, like, Gravekeepers, which is very resourcey, so that's cool.
I've seen a lot of people acting very nostalgic about Yu-Gi-Oh ain't what it used to be, and they're being like, oh, I want to play these slow games, maybe we can find a way of allowing people to play the old decks that don't work anymore, and we can play slow draw set pass. And I'm like, well, Speed Duel, it's not going to tick the nostalgia box of being exactly what you remember, but if you want to go back and play the exact game that you remember, then just go and play the old format that you remember. If you genuinely just want that kind of game, then Speed Duel's great for it.
Yeah, for sure. So I have forgotten what I was going to say. But yeah, Speed Duel is a really great format. I kind of interested to see where it goes from here. It has a new booster pack set coming up, as well as 2 new decks. So it's gonna have it has Manager Bug coming.
Ooh,
yeah. So
the card that everyone thought was broken and probably is in Speed Duel. I don't know.
I mean, it says kill your opponent's best monster. Seems good.
Not awful.
Seems very playable in a format that doesn't have targeted removal for monsters.
Yeah.
Your removal for your opponent's monster is beat over it, or switch it to defense and beat over it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Speed Duel develops. Now I remember what I was going to say. Are you aware of Generation format?
Yeah, it was pretty bad because it was so full of FTKs.
Fair. So something like that is really conceptually cool. Being able to say, hey, look, you're locked into one extra deck type, except that Synchro is inherently designed to just murder everybody always.
It doesn't murder everyone when it just starts its turn with 0 life points.
I mean, the Dual Monsters one, you just had all of the good spells ever printed.
Yep. And you can't have effect monsters, but you can just FTK without effect monsters.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a very small selection of effect monsters that you were allowed to play. But yeah, it was a mess of FTKs. There were viable FTKs in multiple different eras that you could choose. So I don't think that it worked excellently as a competitor.
Off and on again.
Nice. Powerful.
Okay, we should be back. Are we back? We're back. Cool.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TKB Live, the #1 Yu-Gi-Oh podcast for all things technical issues.
Lost connection.
So, where were we? We were discussing formats that just failed horribly because FTKs.
Yep. The old Generation Duel.
Yeah, and then you also had the Synchro Extreme format, which was also not great because it just became dominated.
I don't even know what that is.
It was the one where you could only play machines, warriors, or cards with Synchron in their name.
Hadn't even heard of it.
It was trialed around the time that the Synchron Extreme structure deck came out, which was the first dud structure deck in quite a while because it I believe it was the structure deck that followed directly after the Dragon and Monarch Revival structure decks.
Okay, yeah.
So that was unfortunate, but yeah, it wasn't a great format. There's a guy in the chat, AT Spectre 8K, is asking no material in the side deck, ? They're torn about in the
far too early to say. If we get a format that evolves to be really combo-centric, we still have all of the guard dragons. We've got LP, we've got Agopin, we've got Pisty, and those cards are nuts.
Yeah.
If they make up a third or more of the meta game, no material could be a main deck card. It's just that good when it's good. So it's a card that I've said right from the start is going to variously be unplayable, occasionally side deckable, and then sometimes it will be the most important hand trap in your main deck because it's the only win to go second.
For now, I mean, technically, the description of one of the hand traps for the tins should deal with the
Technically,
should
it might be
deal with
broken.
their
It might be a
drones.
dud.
Yeah.
I think the website that posted that article was the same website that said that Sea Monster of Theseus was going to be top card of 2017.
That's where you're wrong, because you see, that was the Konami blog that said that, whereas it is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card webpage that has the blurb about the hand trap. So.
Okay, completely separate entities. It's all fine.
Completely unrelated.
Yep, everything fine. Don't panic, everyone.
I mean, hopefully it will be. Hopefully, the hand traps from the tins will be impactful. The tins should be really good tins anyway. But yeah. Have you?
I'm holding out for playable.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
I'm just holding out for playable. Impactful seems like a stretch.
I mean, we get a lot of impactful TCG exclusives. See Dangers, see Time T Free Doer, see
and then
TCS.
A lot of complete.
TCS is great.
Completely dead.
TCS was a playable card, and it made an archetype. It made the Dark Synchro decks at the YCS that you won. At YCS Liverpool, Dark Synchro was only a deck because you could go Instant Fusion TCS, and then you like summon Galaxy Soldier, Instant Fusion TCS, bam, summon my
I don't
Zolkin.
remember. I remember that event quite well, and I don't remember seeing any. Sea Monster of Theseus, most powerful monster of 2017, wasn't likely to have been hugely impactful in the YCI one in 2016.
I'm pretty sure TCS was. No, that would make sense.
Definitely.
TCS
Definitely
was
wasn't
Tempest,
around,
right?
Yeah,
Best card in Raging Tempest.
Start of 2017.
Yeah. No, never mind. Okay, but there were Zulkin decks that played it until Master Rule 4. But yeah, TCS wasn't great.
Correct. But we've agreed with that.
I mean, you have like fun TCG exclusives. Like the Dream Mirror cards aren't good. Like the deck won't ever be tier 1. But they're cool. They have nice artwork. They have an enjoyable effect.
Dead keen on those. He has them labeled as his next locals deck. When that will actually come to fruition, I have no idea.
I mean, I don't see how we separate Seb from Sky Strikers. Like,
multi-roll to 1 separated Seb from Sky Strikers.
Yeah, but the deck's gonna top something, and he'll be back on the deck.
He'll have to start
actually
mentally preparing for Sky Strikers being playable.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, he's dead set in his mindset that the deck is dead, and he's on other things. He doesn't know what things, but they're not Sky Strikers at the moment.
Question from the chat. Apex Fair asks, do you guys think we'll ever get Needle Fiber? I don't think we need Needle Fiber in a format where we already have Combo being the best deck of the format.
It'll happen at some point.
I mean, we're definitely getting it. But like...
I mean, we can't say for certain that we're definitely getting it, but I think we will.
I would be very surprised if we did not get Needle Fiber before the end of this year.
Yeah, but then most people would have been surprised if we didn't get Needle Fiber before the end of last year.
Yep, I mean, that is true. But, I think they have slowly gotten it into a position where they can probably release Needle Fiber without it decimating everything. We don't have Sorceress with Needle Fiber, so that's a good start. We don't have Bardiche, which is also
we have
a silly link tree. We have we have loads of just crazy bonkers stuff.
Link Ib into Needle that is the dumbest of the dumb.
Fair. Yeah, we don't need needle fiber. Like, emotionally, we are not prepared for needle fiber. So
yeah, emotionally, I'm ready for it. I just think that I would very shortly thereafter no longer be emotionally ready for it. It would be funny for a week or so.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we're basically at the questions and answers point of today. So we will just be taking those. Aberdeen asks, what deck will you be playing this format? And I don't know about you, but for me, it's very much a case of, I don't know. I don't have enough information to kind of settle on a deck.
There's nothing that I am like especially drawn to at the moment, which is an interesting time for exploring. Like, I've still got running a stack that occasionally changes a little bit. I shuffle that some of the time. I'm looking a little bit into what might be playable for the World Celebration format. I think once I get to after the World Celebration format, there's a little bit of time where nothing really matters all that much. I'll be playing some interesting stuff. I'll be playing some Ib combo. I want to play some Burning Abyss. I want to play some Highlander. Either of the two decks that I just mentioned, Highlander pretty well. So it could be Ib Highlander. It could be BA Highlander.
I think it's important that it's like early enough in the season that like there's no need to settle on a deck.
Yeah. Is Ib the coolest card in the format right now? No, Treasure Panda. We went over that right at the start. Sorry for anyone that wasn't here. Look at him. His shirt barely fits. He's just... He's summoning all the vanillas.
Zephrino asks, Mech Knight Invoked is pretty good right now. What do you guys think? And we actually spoke about it a little bit earlier on, but I really like the deck at the moment. I don't think I was playing a great build of it. I think it's like, I'd definitely take it to locals if I was playing a competitive locals. I would consider it for regionals, but I'm not sure it's consistent enough for a YCS style event. But I think it's definitely a deck that is worth exploring at the moment in the format, and it has been performing well so far, so that should be good. Apex Fear asks, will either of us be at YCS Ghent?
Probably.
Yeah, I still don't know whether I'll be at Ghent or Niagara, but I will be aiming to book my flights within the next week, hopefully. So,
Vox Darkwolf asking about Lunalight. That is a deck that I keep looking at and thinking, these guys seem pretty strong. They have the ability to play second reasonably well, which is something that I think quite a lot of decks are lacking a bit at the moment, and they can still do some combo stuff going first. So I definitely like the versatility they have going for them. The format is so underdeveloped that it's really difficult to say what worked well from a meta-core perspective, but from a sense of raw power, I think that Lunalights are an interesting choice going forwards. Yeah,
Lunalights are actually quite interesting because I think they have one of the best rogue matchups in that summoning a Lunalight fusion monster beats a lot of decks because they have built-in protection.
Yep.
So that's quite interesting. And then again, it has a lot of power behind it. Again, it could just be a case that it's less big than Pendulum or the other Guard Dragon decks.
Yeah. So Damien is talking about Pendulum Guard Dragons, saying that he was looking cards that would be fun to play in there. He found Hydra Ladder. Works well when you get the full Guard Dragon combo. And yeah, that's definitely true. And if you're looking for a deck that's fun to play, Pendulum with Hydra Ladder could be really fun. But if you're trying make a competitive build of Pendulum Guard Dragons, Hydraland not a good card to include because it's just not going to help you enough in the games where you have to go second and you need to break a board. It's sort of similar to putting Column Strike in that when you go first and things go well, it's really good. But if you're forced to go second, you're just quite likely to be stuck with a card in hand that doesn't help you do anything that you really need to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, Pendulum is not a deck that needs Blackluster Soldiers or Hydralanders. Yep. And
it needs cards that get you to your Electromite as reliably as possible.
Yeah, I mean, like, an important thing is, let's look at the BA deck that you played Hydralander in. Like, why was Hydralander an acceptable choice there? Like, Hydralander was a completely rational and playable card in those lists. And that was because the requirements of the hands in that deck to set up so that Hydralander was a live card were so low, where any 2 cards that summoned themselves let you make Hydralander. Roughly. That,
and also the win condition in Burning Abyss decks was doing 8,000 damage, not locking your opponent out from playing.
Yeah, that too.
So the Pension deck plays where your opponent break through what you have, whereas the Burning Abyss deck if it was going second, it would try to win, and if it was going first, it would try to set up a little bit of interruption so that it can just win on its next turn instead.
Yeah, not die and then kill them. But yeah, so that is why Hydralander is not a good card in Pendulum, because it's not very cohesive. It doesn't fix the bad hands, and that's a problem that I see with a lot of Pendulum deck building, and something that, like, Triff, for example, as a member of the community who's, like, very well known for his Pendulum, is like, yeah, you can show all of these great unique Pendulum lists that do lots of stuff. Like, I was talking to the guy who beat me at Locals in the sneak peek about the Doriado OTK, where you stack the top 4 with Doriado, and, like, yeah, you can do that, but, like, it doesn't fix the matchups where you're going second and your opponent goes Solemn Judgment your Pendulum summon. Like, so I don't know. I mean, technically you could probably summon Hydralander if they Judgment your Pendulum summon, but that's not really the point I'm trying to make.
You need cards that win the games you would otherwise have lost, instead of just flexing on your opponent when you've already got them anyway.
Chad Phillips actually has a relevant question that I think ties into this, which is, he says, what deck can use the new Apollo card the best? And I think it might be Pendulum. Like, it's one of the decks that can just throw monsters into things to get value from them.
It's an interesting question, because what deck can use it best? Who knows? What deck can use it? Just about anything that puts monsters on board. Anything that remotely resembles a combo deck now has the means to directly turn link rating on board into cold hard negates. And that's a pretty scary premise. We haven't had such a generic and low cost in terms of deck building way of setting up negates turn 1 as we do now with Appaloosa.
Yeah. Appaloosa is scary. Like, spooky. Do we have any secret striker tech? I mentioned earlier, Triad Instant Fusion to give access to rank 4s. Maybe it's a thing. Tom is shaking his head.
Yeah, that's the best I have as well. I have no idea about striker.
Actually, if you want the spiciest striker tech, so striker assist deck.
Oh no.
Look, Tom, trust me. So striker assist deck, which doesn't really win the early game and aims to win the late game. And what card lets you win the late game the most? Ledger of Ledgermane. It says draw 3 cards on it. And it doesn't have the drawbacks of Demise.
What guarantees never make it to the end game?
Well, you see, you also play that one copy of One Day of Peace, so that guarantees one of the turns. You see.
And that's one of the card of your ledger.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And then
cleared that up.
Also, you can play one copy of Final Countdown, because we're playing for the long game.
Excellent, yep.
And it's spell
Perfect.
synergy.
Love it.
You just need spells that you can
Final
play.
Countdown still at 1.
I believe so, yes. It's broken. It's stronger than Solemn Judgment, confirmed. But yeah.
Mystic Mine Final Countdown.
Wow. The best Mystic Mine list ever. Almost as good as Mystic Mine No Win Con.
Yeah. But you want a card that doesn't have no win con, so we don't like it.
Yeah. Bum bum bum. Thoughts on heroes. Apparently they have a new skill in Duel Links, in Duel Links, which adds the 5 HERO and hero flashcards to your hand.
That sounds powerful.
But it adds one piece at a time over a period of turns.
Okay, that seems significantly less powerful.
I mean, it's still 5 extra cards, Tom. And you also have to play 4 vanilla heroes in your deck, each with different names. But the more fun one is, I think there is... Jesse has a skill which lets you start the game with 7 Crystal Beasts in your deck. Okay.
Oh yeah, the other one. And grass.
Grass is at 3.
You can play grass.
Or maybe grass has been hit, but I'm pretty sure grass is still at 3, so you can play 37 card main deck.
And never open your grass. Love it.
It's fine.
So thoughts on heroes. 2 Stratos is irrelevant. 1 hero lives is a problem.
Yeah, 1 hero lives is a really big problem. And again, you have the problem that Heroes doesn't have a good way of dealing with established boards. Like, you have a lot of cool things that you can do with, like, Vion and Malicious. But, like, particularly without the triple hero lives, like, you're super normal summon reliant, I think. From my understanding, it's like the normal summon is so crucial, and there are just decks which do stuff cooler, or just do stuff better. Icarus is like very fun to play around with, but
I think if we had more copies of the Hero Lives, it could be a really interesting deck. But without it, just doesn't feel like it's going to get there. I briefly entertained the idea that you could play Left Arm Offering for Hero Lives, for Stratos, for Vion, but it doesn't work if you've already used your normal summon, so I just don't think it's quite getting there, unfortunately.
There are a bunch of new heroes from the new set, which I have not actually read yet. So potentially they could have some impact, but at the same time it's a case of, like, is Heroes better than the established decks? Like, is it better than Salmon Great? Is it better at OTKing than something like Mech Knight Invoked? And is it better at Wombo comboing than Guard Dragon? If it's not better than any of those decks, then as a competitive deck, it shouldn't be considered highly, but it can be considered as a casual deck for sure.
Yeah.
I think we need to be finishing up now.
Yeah.
So thank you all.
Is there one more question?
Does Natbeast still do stuff this format? That's not a terribly exciting question because the problem is there's Wombo combo decks which just ignore it entirely.
Format Natbeast format where everything cares.
Yeah, like Natbeast has the problem that, you know, like Natbeast is often just a bad Colossus in this format. That would be my opinion. at that point, you can just play Colossus. I think I am losing Tom.
No, I'm still here. I'm looking for questions. Sorry.
Okay, guys, your best questions for the final question. While we wait, 20 questions. I have one card from my sneak peek.
Is it a wind monster?
Yeah.
Oh boy, we're going straight in with the real deal. Is it a level 4 or lower monster?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a Cymorg?
Yes.
Is it a level 2 or lower?
Yes.
Is it a name rare?
Yes.
That's the one I didn't pull, so I don't know what it's called.
Seaborg Bird of Beginning. It's the good one.
No, Bird of Beginning is the level 1.
No, Bird of Beginning is the level 2. You're thinking of Bird of...
Cymorg, Bird of Beginning. I have it in hand.
Bird of Bringing.
Stop lying.
Bird
to
of
the
Bringing.
stream.
I don't know how to read English. An bhfuil cead agam dulgtaí an iris leat Kuba asks, is True Draco good? Yes, it is. Is it the best deck? Potentially not. Man asks, what is the best deck and why is it Insector? I beat Insector with Cosmo. It's not good, I'm sorry.
I mean, Cosmo does have a pretty good Insector matchup, but...
Yeah. Dark Destroyer is a good card.
If you were to pick one card that you think may define the coming format, what do you think it would be, and what would you want it to be? That is a really good question. Thank you, Ecolate Games.
So the card that I would want to define the format would be Noble Arms Arfeudator, because I think that card's a very fair and fun card. The card that I would expect to define the format, probably Apollousa. Like, it's hyped for a reason, and we still have combo being very prevalent, so it's probably that, or else maybe Electromite.
I think the card that will define the format is Good Dragon LP. And the card that I would want to define the format...
Dante.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Rescue card.
Hydrolander.
Ferret. Hydrolander would be pretty hype.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love Hydrolander to be the defining card, but yeah. LP's got to be my pick for that one.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you all very much for joining us. Like I said, I'm confirmed for attending Worlds. I don't think anybody else on the team is going, but if you are looking to get tickets, if you go to the Konami Europe Yu-Gi-Oh page, they are available there. And if you are going to be there, feel free to come over and say hi. Otherwise, I've been Daniel. This has been Tom. And we will be back to you guys next Monday with more chatting and discussion, and possibly even some gameplay if we can get the stream to behave itself.
If you can get a powerful enough connection to deal with 2 cameras.
I don't think so. We'll have to
Don't promise what you can't deliver.
We'll play mental Yu-Gi-Oh, you know? But yeah, thank you all very much for joining us. If you have any questions, put them in the comments of this video and we will get back to you when we can. And otherwise, have a lovely week and best of luck at locals.